I went down to South Carolina, which is an early state, just like Nevada. And I was at a legislative banquet, and I was sitting next to a state representative whose endorsement I wanted. And so I said to this state representative, I want your endorsement. And she said, Obama, I will give you my endorsement if you come to my hometown of Greenwood, South Carolina. And I must have had a glass of wine that night, because right off the bat I said, okay, I'm coming. Only to find out that Greenwood is an hour and a half from every place else. It is remote. It is far away. So the next time I am in South Carolina, I fly in about midnight. I get to the hotel about 12:30. I'm exhausted. I've been campaigning, I think maybe for 10 days straight. I'm dragging my bags into the hotel room. I get a tap on the shoulder. I turn back. It is my staff person who says, Senator. I said, what? He said, we have to be in the car at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I said, why? He said, because we have to go to Greenwood like you promised. So the next morning I wake up and I feel worse than when I went to bed. I feel terrible. And I drag myself over to the window to pull open the shades, hoping for some sunlight. But it is a miserable day outside, pouring down rain. Pouring down rain. So then I go to get some coffee to wake myself up and get the newspaper outside of the door of the room. I open it up, there's a bad story about me in the New York Times. So then I pack my bags, I go downstairs, and as I walk in the car, my umbrella blows open, and I get soaking wet. So now I'm wet, I'm sleepy, and I'm mad. And we start driving out to Greenwood. We drive and we drive, we drive, we drive. Finally, we get to Greenwood. Although you don't know you're in Greenwood right away. You know, aren't a lot of tall buildings in Greenwood. And we pull alongside a park, and we go inside a field house. And after this hour and a half drive, with an hour and a half to drive back to where I came from, I discover, lo and behold, that there are only 20 people there waiting for me. 20 people. And they all look like they're not that happy to be there. They all look like they've been rained on. But, you know, I'm a professional. I'm running for president, so I'm shaking hands. We know that every vote counts. I'm shaking hands. How do you do? What do you do? Nice to meet you. Good to see you. What's going on in Greenwood? Suddenly I hear this voice behind me. Shout out. Fired up. And the other 20, I'm startled, but the other 20 people, they all act like this normal. They say, fired up. And then I hear the same voice say, ready to go. And the other 20 people, they all say, ready to go. And I don't know what's going on. So I look behind me, and there's this little woman standing there. She's about 5'2", 5'3". And she's about 60 years old. She's dressed like she's going to church. She's got a big church hat. Glasses. She looks at me, she smiles, and she says, fired up! Turns out she is a city councilwoman from Greenwood who is famous for her chant. She's been doing this for years. She chants everywhere she goes, leading people in chants. And so for the next 5 minutes, she proceeds to chant over and over again. Fired up, ready to go, ready to go. Everybody joins in. So I'm standing there, waiting for it to be over. I'm looking at my staff, they don't know what's going on. This goes on for 5 minutes. But here's the thing, Las Vegas. After about a minute or two, I'm feeling kind of fired up. I feel like I'm ready to go. So I start joining in the chant, and it feels good. And for the rest of the day, even after we left Greenwood. Whenever I saw my staff, I'd say, "Are you fired up?" I said, "I'm fired up, boss. You ready to go?" I said, "I'm ready to go." Now, that's not where the story ends, because this chant starts getting picked up by some of my staff. And at some of the rallies, and people start getting t-shirts saying, "Fired up, ready to go." And then the Wall Street Journal calls up the city councilwoman and does an interview and a story on her. The LA Times picks it up. And when we go down to South Carolina, in Columbia, and 30,000 people are there, and Oprah is there, she's fired up and ready to go. And the woman's there, and she becomes this celebrity. Spreads like wildfire. It goes to show you how one voice can change a room. And if one voice can change a room, it can change a city. And if it can change a city, it can change a state. And if it can change a state, it can change the country. And if it can change the country, it can change the world. So, Las Vegas, I want to know,